Hello and welcome to View from the Bridge. My name is Joel Amy. Delighted as always to be joined by my co-host Richard Ailing. Richard, how are you feeling? Excited for what promises to be a very exciting few days of sport, not just in the cricket but with everywhere. I know you're a bit of a Masters fan.
Indeed, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All really enjoyed the first game week of the county championship coming back. You lots of exciting stories and great performances, and you don't have to wait long for the next game week as well. So that's great. And then there's elsewhere with Forest in a European Cup quarter final and the Masters. You've got sport coming at you left, right, and centre at the moment, which is always a pleasing thing to have.
I don't know how to keep up with it all. I'm trying to plan. As I was saying, I'm hoping by some chance, and this isn't to denigrate Glamorgan, by some chance, we're by Sunday lunchtime. We've skipped them once, we've racked up a massive lead, and we've got them 5-6 down. And I can go, yeah, I don't need to watch anymore. Switch over to Forest, watch Forest against Villa, and then settle in for a couple of hours with the Masters in the evening. That would be the ideal plan, but the way things work, that never happens. And a bit of rain forecast as well, so that might delay things. And I think having seen the way Glamorgan performed against Yorkshire, I don't think they're going to be an easy opponent. But we'll touch on that shortly. Let's first of all look back on the Somerset game. How are you feeling after that? Pleased with the draw? A bit disappointed that maybe, having been in a good position end of day two, didn't, maybe dominate a bit more? Or, how do you see it?
I think overall you have to be pleased with the draw. So we discussed previously our poor record at Taunton. First game, a few players were missing. I think we both said we'd be happy with the draw at the start of that, and I think the performance was reasonable. Pitch obviously flattened out a bit, and it was a bit disappointing that sort of Notts win seemed to have gone. Whereas a possibility or a decent possibility end of day two by the end of day three, but. I think both teams will be happy with that draw, and it was a good workout for the Notts side, particularly the batsmen. Everyone seemed to get decent knock in at some point, and the bowlers really toured away, especially in the sort of second innings. But I think they'll be pretty pleased with getting some overs under the belt and some minutes at the crease, and coming away with a draw at Taunton is positive. But would maybe like to get on top a little bit more of Somerset, particularly day three. But overall a solid performance and happy with. What were your general thoughts?
I'd say the same. I mean, it's a little bit worrying maybe the way I think there was a mix. I mean, I definitely have taken the draw. I think this is maybe the weakest Notts side we're going to have in this opening round of a block of fixtures. So I was quite pleased to gather there with a good number of points. Nice to got that extra batting point, but so be it. Yeah, I mean, I think there were some positives to take from. I think some of the bowling spells were very good. Good to see most of the batsmen getting some sort of runs, even if they didn't go on. That no one seemed to get too low scores in the game, so that was good. A little bit, difficult. Lyndon James had a difficult game, which is a shame. So I had high hopes for him. He looked a bit off with his bowling, but hopefully he'll be better for the run out, and he'll be back on top form this game. But overall satisfied. I think the fact that Surrey and Warwickshire drew as well. Essex were the only winners, but they that. So we're not. Oh, it was Sussex, but obviously Sussex have the points deduction. So it's only one team that's had a bit of a head start on us, and I think I'm reasonably satisfied. And let's face it, as you say, we always struggle at Somerset, and James Rew and Tom Abel always seem to score big runs against us. It was a 300-run partnership last year, and I think considering where we were at the end of day three, I'm quite content with that. Looking at the bowlers, first of all, what did you make of it? Because I thought Ollie Stone and Dylan Pennington were superb up front on a pitch that did a bit. Rob Lord was a bit hit and miss. Obviously, I think James struggled a bit. I think Pennington obviously then had a great second day and got a deserved five. But second innings, all the bowlers seemed a little bit innocuous. how do you see it? I mean, do you kind of just go, well, it was a flat wicket second time round, and or does that give you any sort of cause for concern?
I don't think too much cause for concern. I think, yeah, sort of if you look at the first innings particularly, I think Notts were much better. I mean, might be unlucky to not get Somerset out for, yeah, much lower score. I mean, yeah, that opening spell was from both Stone and Pennington were really good, and yeah, they didn't get as many wickets as you would have liked, but yeah, they look like they could be really on top of Somerset, and to one point, yeah, we might be getting for a much lower score, but yeah, so Abel and Overton, yeah, had a really impressive sort of comeback, and yeah, then in Notts' first innings, Somerset seamers didn't look too threatening at first, and then so it looked like we could get a big lead if someone had gone. I was just looking at the scorecard, and everyone in the Notts team got double figures apart from Pennington, and yeah, it would be nice to see one of them go on, but you can always pick out there. But then, yeah, sort of Alfie Opon with a couple of wickets there turned the game back away from Notts, really, because you thought at that point we were going to maybe go on and win there. So yeah, I don't think any cause for concern, really. The second innings, I mean, I'm not writing off completely. I think, yeah, the pitch did sort of flatten out a bit, and it would have been nice to see the seamers look a bit more threatening. But I think everyone was sort of struggling by the time then, and yeah, there weren't too many wickets that fell to seamers in the second innings. But yeah, I don't know cause for concern for me. You'd obviously like to see batters kick on and ballers a little bit more penetrating. But yeah, I think there's a fair bit of positives to take into Glamorgan.
Yeah, I think Pennington's five. I know I was very bullish about his chances of getting an England call up this summer. I think he showed why in the first innings. Second time right, did get a little bit of tap, but promising to see that first and second day did look very good. I guess obviously that means potentially changes for this match coming up. I mean, I thought Ollie Stone's sort of bite and pace seemed to fall off a little bit. It's not going to be easy coming back after such a long time away from playing 4-day cricket. Would you kind of think maybe better to not play him back to back? And we don't know yet whether Josh Tongue will be available, but we assume Fergus O'Neill and Brett Hutton at the very least will be back. Would you say Lord and Stone two definitely likely to make way?
Yeah, I think it has to be, really, doesn't it? I mean, I don't think Lord bowled too badly, actually, but yeah, didn't get much reward. So yeah, I think he'll definitely make way. And then yeah, I think Stone has been bowling pretty well in pre-season. But yeah, the second innings and with his injury record, I think it's probably best to, if when we hear about if Tongue's playing, that they'd be the two to make way, and then you assume McCann, if Duckett is playing, would make way as well. So I don't think there's too much controversy about sort of selection, but we'll just have to wait and see who's available. But yeah, I think those will be the ones that make way, and I don't think we'll be looking to make any other changes. Yeah, any further thoughts from you on that?
No, yeah, I mean, I think it's unfair on McCann in many ways. He's done nothing wrong. He's made 50 runs in the match or whatever, over 50 runs for once out. But who else do you drop? Hamid and Slater past 50 openers twice in the match. I wouldn't want to break them up in any way. Clark's got 90, Haynes got a half century, and I think Duckett as well. If he's not going to open, he's going to come in at number 3. So I kind of don't see what other option they really have, which is, unless you don't play a spinner, unless you don't play Patterson White or something, and you go with McCann bowling a few overs of spin, but Liam Patterson White seems like he always seems to contribute in some way, and I'd hate to even consider dropping him the way he's playing at the minute, whether it's with bat or ball, he always seems to do something. So I think if Duckett's available, I think he'll come in at 3. But with the batting, again, it was a bit hit and miss. As I say, a few half centuries in the game, but no one going on to make that big score. Do you just say, well, everyone contributed, that's good, or do you kind of go, well, would it be nice if someone kicked on? to be fair to Clark, I mean, he had a bit of luck early on in his innings, but the delivery got to dismiss him from Alfie Ogborn. I mean, sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and go, well played.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, that was a fantastic spell, wasn't it? Game changing. I just had a couple of other quick queries on the not Somerset one. Firstly, in terms of Liam Patterson-White, what would say he's a genuine all rounder now? Is he locked in there? I mean, I think Farr might have got wickets for the second, but what would you say his role is? Is he a genuine all rounder?
Well, Farhan and Joe Pocklington, ironically, have both got not have taken 11 Hampshire wickets in the second match, and they've got 10 of them between them. So they're both doing well, and both got runs actually. Both scored runs, so both having an amazing game. Yeah, I think I think now he's a genuine all rounder. I think he was averaging over 30 last year. He made I think second first class 100. He scored pivotal runs against Surrey and Worcestershire. I think he's a bowling all rounder, but I think he is an all rounder now. In the same way, I'd say Lyndon James is probably a batting all rounder. So I would say so. And I was tweeting actually yesterday all this talk about James Coles. Liam Patterson-White with the ball has 3 times as many wickets and an average of 10 runs better with the ball. So, you know, I think people kind of forget about that. I'm pleased Michael Atherton's name checked him as well as a potential option. I think his batting has improved. I think to maybe get the England call it, maybe he'll need to get a few more runs. Maybe a couple of half centuries might just sort of swing things a bit his way. But I'd say so at the minute. But yeah, I think there's still improvements to come. And as a bowler, I think maybe he needs to work a little bit on sort of when people are coming at him. I think Farhan's better as a defensive bowler than him, but I think it's an all-round package. I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Cole's, just comparing that, is Cole's probably a batter that bowls a bit more. I don't think he's got too many wickets in the county championship, but yeah, I take your point. He should be mentioned. As you say, he always seems to contribute in some way. And then the other question I had from the sort of Somerset game was, well, what are your thoughts on Somerset, James Rew, and Alfie Ogborn, and just the Somerset team in general?
Oh, I mean, I think if Somerset had a second overseas seamer in their side, I think they'd be real strong contenders for the championship. I think, or even another batsman, and you stick Rew up. If Rew wants to get into the England side, I think he should open, give up the gloves. I know there's been some talk about that. I've been a massive fan of him for 2 or 3 years now since I saw him in the One Day Cup. He just has this calmness about him, this authority at the crease. I mean, I think he came in 14 for 2 day one, Sterling Pennington steaming in, pitch nipping around, and he just looks class. He doesn't look ruffled. He's got a very organised game. He's got a lot of shots against the spinners, in particular, which I quite like. I'm a huge fan of his. If Bethel hadn't been nailed down for 3, I'd have him at 3, but obviously that's not going to change. So I think realistically, his only opportunity is to open, because I think there's a middle order slot. I think Jordan Cox is deservedly the next in line, having performed very well for Essex. But no, I'm a huge fan of his. And Alfie Ogborn, I know in our preview podcast he was mentioned by the Somerset people we had on, and after his first spell, you're thinking, what's the fuss about? And then day 3, day 4, you're like, wow, blimey, it's like Ryan Sidebottom reincarnated. Like he was bowling unplayable deliveries, the fastest bowler in the game as well. And even his opening spell on day 4, when we were trying to save the game, he didn't get a wicket, but blimey, he deserved one. I mean, I thought it was fantastic to watch. And if he can maintain that quality and keep bowling like that and develop and do it on the flat decks, and maybe when the ball isn't moving as much, there's a real talent there, and it's exciting to see what can happen. Interesting, actually. I was out yesterday at a game, and I was chatting to one of the former Somerset players, I didn't know he was going to be there. I just happened to spot him, and I was asking him about Alfie Osborne. He said he was on a pre-season tour with him a few years ago, and that he sort of not kind of developed through the academy sort of system. He'd been working on a building site and got his chance, and he said, I'm determined to make the most of this now. And he said he was thrilled to see, the fact that his hard work had paid off. Because I was really impressed. I mean, I thought he was the pick of the bowlers simply because he kind of delivered when the pitch was at its flattest. So yeah, no, really good.
Yeah, it's nice to see left arm seamers come through, isn't it? Because we don't seem to have too many for England, particularly in sort of the red ball. I know we've had sort of maybe Topley and Timon Wells and a few others, but yeah, in the red ball, we've not had a left arm that's made a big impact for a while. So that'd be good to see. And yeah, I agree with Rue. Yeah, it's interesting to see where he was batting and Jamie Smith batting 3. Yeah, I think the only thing I was thinking is if he goes and opens with Duckett and then Bethel, that's 3 left-handers to start. We've got abundance of left-hand batters and not so many seamers, but he looks good, and it'd be interesting to see if he does go for the opener slot. But it's a tricky one to break into now. But yeah, you would have thought he'd be thereabouts, particularly if he continues as he started.
Absolutely. So that, and you know what? That's the beauty of cricket. Like, I know I want Notts to win, but when you see class players, and Tom Culloch had more second innings, Tom Abel first innings, Craig Overton deserved more wickets than he got. He was brilliant. When you see stuff like that, you kind of you can enjoy it, you can appreciate it, and I'm quite pleased that Notts. I know they dropped some catches, which was a bit worrying, a bit disappointing, but by and large, when they struggled, it was the opposition playing well, and that was good to see. I didn't feel like they were most of the time throwing their wickets away, or I thought there was a few loose shots, but it wasn't like reckless cricket. Or sometimes you watch England play and you kind of just despair because you go, "What on earth are they doing?" Whereas this time, I generally felt like Somerset played really well second half of the game. So I really enjoyed it as a contest, as an advert for the championship. I thought it was very good. It's just a shame the pitch didn't maybe do a little bit more, sort of towards the end of the match. I think that's a regular problem at Somerset now, and I guess that's the impact of being deducted points in the past, and now this new regulation that if your pitch is below average, you can lose all your points, which I think is very harsh, because I think it's just going to encourage flat wickets, because why take the risk? Yeah, what else caught your eye? I mean, loads happened in the first round of fixtures. I mean, what was standout for you elsewhere?
Yeah, I think the Surrey Warwickshire game was obviously a big one, wasn't it? You feel like Surrey Warwickshire, not Somerset and Essex probably be up there. Those Sussex were pretty good as well. I think the Surrey Warwickshire one again, you said about the pitch that, yeah, maybe you thought when Surrey were in a bit of trouble that there might be a result there, but that seemed to flatten out. I mean, runs for Folkes and Smith. I mean, do you maybe not carry as much weight because of how the pitch played? I think it was interesting to see Jamie Smith go at 3. I mean, to me, he still looks like the best batsman and will probably keep the wicket-keeping place. I know you're a big fan of Folkes, but yeah, I think he still looks the best batsman to me, although you have to take it with a pinch of salt. I think some of the runs in that match, because the pitch did look a bit dead. But yeah, it looks like Warwickshire will be pushing Surrey all the way, and then just another couple of other bits for me. I think Glamorgan looked pretty solid. We'll probably go into a bit more detail when we preview the Notts match against them this tomorrow now, isn't it? And then, yeah, who else stood out for me? I think the Worcestershire opener, Dan Latican, looked really good, actually. I don't know if he is born in South Africa, but I wouldn't mind him going English qualified if possible. So, yeah, I guess they were a couple of standouts. I'll leave you to pick up a few more. Maybe the Northants Lancashire game was excellent, but what else stood out for you?
It's interesting. Well, that's again interesting. We had Paul Farbrace on, and he said he backs him for a major season. So typically, I put him in my fantasy team, put him on the bench. So James Walton gets nothing, and Latican goes and gets all those runs. So I switched him around this time. Anderson stood out for me. I mean, I know one of his wickets clearly didn't look out, poor Calvin Harrison, but eight for in the game. moving it around beautifully. That was great to see. I think for me, yeah, in the Folks situation, I think his runs in some ways not counted for more, but they came at a time when the pitch was doing its most and his side were most in need. But regardless of that, I mean, I just had minks of his wicket keeping. Personally, I'm a big believer in unless your wicketkeeper can't bat much at all, having your best keeper in. That's just the way I see it. I think you see some folks is largely being all right with the gloves, but you just drop the odd absolute clanger, and that can cost you a match. Whereas I think if folks batted at six, and I think he'd do well at test level. I think he don't think he's suited to number seven role. I don't see a problem having Stokes at seven, personally, especially if he's bowling a lot now. So, but yeah, and elsewhere, I think for me the joyful thing was the leg spinners. I mean, they were just wickets everywhere. Mason Crane, one of them he got was, I mean, it's shame. It's like watching Shane Warne to Gatting. It was like that, but because it's Glamorgan, Yorkshire, behind the live stream, it doesn't get the same attention. But my word, that was. I've been tweeting about it non-stop. I mean, that is just one of the best deliveries I've ever seen. Have you caught it yet?
Yeah, I've seen it a few times, and yeah, it's not much better than a leg spinner turn, especially when it's an English legger. You don't seem to have too many of them. So yeah, I'm pleased to see him doing well because yeah, I felt like he was sort of coming on to good things, but he's maybe career's not sort of kicked on as much as he would have liked. But yeah, that was really impressive. And he looks impressive throughout the match. And there were a lot of wickets for spinners across the county championship, so which is always good to see. So yeah, they really enjoyed that performance, and I think Glamorgan gave a pretty sporting declaration as well, which was good to see. I mean, Somerset's wasn't particularly, but the pitch was difficult and it's not easy. But no, I enjoyed Glamorgan's performance in the first game week.
I guess it's a nice segue to the match tomorrow. I mean, you'd kind of go, well, champions against newly promoted side at home banker. I mean, looking at Glamorgan, the way they played against Yorkshire, I think their strength is their batting. A lot of players, scored big runs last year, and you've got Asa Tribe, who's the potential England opener. You've got Colin Ingram, I think, is one of those underrated county overseas players who churns out the runs every year. Carlson's a good player. Sean Dixon's aggressive. You can go down the list there and pick out players to worry about. Well, what are your feelings towards it? And again, do you take into account that, well, we need to bat first because we don't want them to be having Crane bowling final day, him and Kellaway. Does that come into consideration as well?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I think you don't want to be worrying too much about what the opposition do. You want to put them under pressure. I feel like at the moment Glamorgan will have that. You see it sometimes in football when they come up and they've got a bit of a bounce because they're excited about the new division, and then further down the season they've lost a few and their confidence is gone. But I think their confidence will be high. So I think it's crucial that we start well and get on top of them. I agree their batting looks much stronger than their bowling, albeit you mentioned the spinners could come into play if we've seen the trends continue from game week one. But there was also a lot of runs in game week one. So I think I'd agree. Hopefully we can get on top of them early and get some good runs, and then Fergus O'Neill should hopefully be playing, and we can maybe make some indents into their batting. But they look a decent side, particularly as you say on the batting front. Not too much weakness there, but we should hopefully have too much for them. But I think it's crucial we don't give them too much encouragement early doors. What are your feelings about the game?
Yeah, I mean, I want to get the forecast up again. Actually, I mean, you shouldn't always read into it. I mean, Trent Bridge, I think the idea is to try to make it spicy early on, and it tends to flatten out a bit. So let's look at the forecast for tomorrow, because I mean, it looks dry tomorrow, a little bit cloudy, but it looks like an all right day. Whereas the rain's due on Saturday and Sunday don't look amazing. So do you go, well, tomorrow's a bat first day, get the runs on, and then hopefully get them under the clouds? For me, that might be the best option. But then if you lose time out of the game, expecting to, do you not think, well, maybe we need to get this 20 wickets as quick as we can? It's a tough one. I mean, I guess you'd look at the wicket as well. If it's a green seamer, I'd back our boys in any sort of weather to strike if the pitch is going to do a bit. So yeah, it's hard to say from where we are, but I think from my perspective, I don't think the pitch will turn much anyway. So I think just whatever we can. I think we need to be aggressive. I think this is not this. If Notts played to their potential, they're a better side than Glamorgan. Glamorgan are a good team, and I think actually have a good chance of staying up this year. I really do. I think they're stronger than Leicestershire. But I think from this perspective, we need to be trying to get on the front foot and trying to get those 20 wickets as quick as we can. We have to take risks in many sense. But I feel confident. O'Neill's coming in on good form. I think the Pennington plays as well. He looked good, and I think a lot of our batsmen have got runs. So I'm feeling fairly positive. But as I say, I'm not taking anything for granted. I think Glamorgan are a talented side. I just hope we can play to our potential. Really, I mean, one thing to note is Ryan Hadley. He's sort of one of those unheralded Australian seamers, and 3 wickets in either innings. And his first 3 were all short balls. I mean, some of them were proper good short balls as well. So interesting to see what happens there. How do we take on the short ball if he's aggressive? Do we sort of sway out of the way? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm looking forward to it, actually. It's Glamorgan haven't been in the top flight for 2 decades, so good luck to them. I hope they put up a good fight, but I also hope that by Sunday lunchtime at the Forest game we're in a good position as well. So can't have it always, can you?
Yeah, no, it should be an exciting game. And as Ace Tribe didn't have the best first game week. I mean, there's a lot of talk about him as well, so I'm sure he'll be keen to impress her. I feeling that it's not going to be. Yeah, I think it's not going to be easy for him. I think a few people have been studying him, seeing him a bit more often now, and often you find it a bit more difficult. But exciting team and an exciting game. I do think, if we don't get a win just on the, and then suddenly he could be, a little bit behind and sort of chasing the 8 ball. But hopefully if you get a decent amount of cricket in, and we'll have a stronger team than the Somerset game week, I would expect us to have a massive opportunity to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Trent Bridge is a fast scoring ground, so if we do bat first, there's no reason we can't get a good score on the board fairly quickly. I think Glamorgan's bowling is their weakest suit. Crane's an expensive bowler. He's a wicket taker, but he'll go for runs. I saw Gorvin had a bit of a struggle whether he plays again. Van der Gutten is probably their most miserly seamer, but so you do think that it's maybe not the strongest attacking Division 1. If we can get on top of them, it might put some pressure on the batters. And I am looking forward to seeing Asa Tribe and Kieran Carson and all these players, because I've seen they score a lot of runs in Division 2, and now it's exciting to see what they can do in Div 1 and how their techniques stand up. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to that. But you say, Glamorgan and then Leicestershire after the break. You think if Notts are going to challenge this year, those are 2 games they'll target and go, we could get some wins here. I know we've got Warwickshire and Surrey as well around those 2 fixtures, but those are 2 I think obviously will be thought of as opportunities. So look, I think that's a nice way to leave it. I think we've I'm excited. I mean, I've loved the first round. Doesn't get better than the County Championship, does it, Richard? There's just stories everywhere, wasn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Every single game had a story. We've probably not covered enough of them, but you can't go through them all. We've tried to pick out the highlights, but I'm sure it'll be the same again, as long as the weather doesn't get too involved. That we'll have plenty of exciting stories and lots of potential England players, and hopefully a Notts win to talk about next podcast.
And people want to keep up with us. We do the Substack as well, so there's a bit more on the Somerset game and the First Island Championship on there, and a Glamorgan preview. And we try and do, if we can, after every Notts day, takeaways from the day, so you can kind of see what we picked out from the day's play. So plenty of ways to keep in touch. We tweet as well on Facebook, so give us a follow, give us a listen, share, and everything. Get involved. We love the interactions we get with our followers. They really cheer us up. So brilliant. Well, we'll leave it for there. We'll hopefully have some more stuff coming in the next couple of weeks as well. Thank you again, Richard, for joining me. I hope your Masters tips work out well for you. And we'll be back soon. Take care.